Well, welcome again, Facebook friends. It's indeed a privilege to be here with you. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was gone. I was in Africa, Ghana. You know, my interest is not only to treat patients, but to teach patients how to prevent and reverse diseases. This morning, I was in Dallas, where I work with Dr. Bryce in Welcome again. You know, with live programs, there are always problems. So I want to welcome you again to Get Health with Dr. Cooper, where the emphasis is in empowering you to live a long, happy life through lifestyle changes. And the emphasis is not only on how to treat the disease, but how to prevent, how to educate. This morning, as I mentioned, I was in Dallas, where Dr. Bryce had a health retreat, Fabulous in 40. The room was filled with hundreds of people trying to get information on how to stay healthy and to reverse your diseases. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, I was in Ghana with a group from Texas and Mexico and from other places in the United States. We saw thousands of patients and impacted probably 500,000 lives. And I know that many of you are following us, and I thought it was necessary to report to you. Some of you even supported the trip financially, and I want to thank you. But you know, with me in the studio today, I have two gentlemen that are going to be with me. The first one is Dr. Pastor Chance. He is the man who caused us to go to Ghana. Dr. Chance, welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. I mean, we had a fabulous, fantastic
It was a
trip.
blessing, yes.
Yes, no. Tell me, you were the one who called me to organize the trip. Why don't you give the listeners something? Why did you ask Faithful Path to go to Ghana?
Well, several things. Last year, in about September, October, both you and I were working in Africa.
That's right.
And so you were in Senegal and I was in Ghana. So while I was in Ghana, we saw a whole lot of stuff. We were doing a lot of humanitarian activities as well. However, most of the people kept saying about they're sick, they need some health services and so forth. So I didn't feel like we did a thorough work.
That's right.
So, you know, we went there primarily was actually to train leaders, you know, in different aspects. But upon returning, the president there for the organization we were working with, he asked, you know, hey, can you get some, you know, maybe doctors and dentists and different people to come and help us out? So I was also watching your Facebook post.
Oh, posting from Senegal.
From Senegal.
We were quite busy.
So I'm like, that's the solution. That's the answer there. So as soon as I came back, I think just a few days afterwards, I came to your office and I asked you, hey, you know, would you and Faithful Path be willing to come over to Ghana and help out the people there? And you did.
Yes, believe me, it was difficult because we were coming from Ghana where we saw so many patients. We did so many cataract surgery. I was fatigued, literally. I was tired.
I can
so
understand.
I was like saying, oh, well, maybe not. But then, you know, I prayed about it. I thought about it. I said, what a wonderful opportunity.
Oh, we are
so
grateful.
Thank you so much. So tell me, in Ghana, we saw over 3,000 patients. What do you think?
Well, I think absolutely it was amazing, and we really want to thank the leadership and, you know, for everyone at Faithful Path International Ministries, plus our friends and volunteers from Mexico that you were able to rally and bring them together. But that type of a number, I mean, folks, you see some of the pictures probably in the background going there, But the thing is, what impressed me most, Dr. Cooper, was not only the people, but your team, the people that came. They were willing to stay late at night,
Yes.
sometimes 9 and 10 o'clock at night. And these are doctors, dentists, different people, nurses. And that touched me because it was not like simply, oh, we're there, now we're tired, let's just
Right.
kick back.
Right.
So the compassion was there. The other thing was just seeing all manner of people coming. They told us some people even came as far away, 6, 7, 8 hours away
Right.
from Accra. They found their way up there. Folks from Kumasi came there. And so I was just touched to see that many people being served.
You know, we serve over 3,000 people, and we were a very small team. We were 15 medical personnel. We were seeing 600 patients a day. And we were very blessed because having spoken to some of the surgeons, they were telling me that they had so many complicated cases that if it were in their offices, it would have been difficult. But we know that we had the mighty God working with us because we had no complications. And, you know, our viewers, they might be wondering what type of patients we saw. We saw many patients with high blood pressure. High blood pressure, different types of cancer, diabetes, arthritis, all the chronic diseases that we see here, we saw there. And as you mentioned, we had some faithful doctors working with us because they were willing to see every single patient.
Yes.
They were working 14, 15 hours a day, seeing all the patients. What a privilege.
Awesome. And not only that, but the schedule itself was was something, right? You know, folks got up, of course, you had your own personal time. Some of us went for walks in the morning, but 7:30 we met, we had breakfast. By 8:30, you were at the hospital ready to work. But then the crowds that were waiting,
Oh boy.
right? Sometimes was you 600, 700
Oh,
plus
yes,
people
yes.
already waiting to be seen that day. Sometimes we ended the day, let's say at 5:30, and then in the evening you still had to do. You were
We
not
had
finished.
to go. No, in the
What
evening, no,
happened?
we had to go and do health education seminars and gospel seminars. And we had 5 different locations. So the group was split into 5. So we had a nurse or a doctor at one location, and then a spiritual pastor at the other location. So then we had clinic in the morning, and then educational seminar in the evening.
Right. Now, have you considered like those marathon speakers? Because they didn't ask you just to do 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
My Lord.
How long was your health presentation?
You know, I was told you need to speak for an hour. I said, 1 hour? That's a lot of time.
After serving all day long at the hospital, at the clinic,
I mean,
right?
you know, but you know, one good thing is that no one really got very ill.
That was good.
And we have to be very thankful for that.
That was
So we want to thank you. And you were very busy yourself because you had to be at the hospital and then you did training. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, this is what I like about this particular kind of work as well, because one thing is you provide the service, but we want to educate the folks as well. So as you're saying, in the evenings, hundreds, thousands perhaps were listening physically. But also the radio, there were 4 different radio stations that carried their signal to over 500,000 people.
Right.
So Mr. Patrick and myself would go and train lay people who were working with us, helping us crowd control, helping us to organize at the sites where you were teaching the spiritual lessons and also the health seminars. So we were like, we need to equip them as well, so at least they can continue teaching after we leave, because again, everybody, that's the key thing in that area. What was the life expectancy?
Oh, yes. In Ghana, it's 65 years. That's the life expectancy in Ghana. While in America, it's 78 years. So the only way to change that statistic is through education.
Right.
Through education on how to live and stay healthy.
Now, you give an audacious vision also. So if we're going to move the life expectancy up, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, because you shared a vision that you didn't want them to just remain living to about 65 years, but what was the bold goal?
100 and beyond.
All right.
100 and beyond. So that's one of the reasons why we were teaching lay people how to give these seminars. The idea is not only to go and treat them, but we wanted to equip them, leaving them with information that they can use to teach the community and how to live healthy and therefore increase life expectancy. I'm going to ask the producer to kind of keep putting the pictures up, and we can be in the background as we speak, because I'm sure the viewers are wondering, they want to see some pictures. So Ivan, se puede poner los fotos ahí so that they can see. So there we have one of our dentists. The dentists, they were so busy, they did over just about 400 dental surgeries. And some of these surgeries were very difficult, as they explained, but they stayed there 12 hours, 14 hours seeing patients. You can go ahead and keep moving the pictures. We had two of the best dentists from Mexico, young and ready to work, and they did a fantastic job seeing the patient, not only doing extraction, but patients who had broken teeth. These teeth were reconstructed. And I want to say thank you to Adventist Medical Evangelism Network. Amen. They donated a whole dental unit, medication, and a lot of dental supplies. So we were able to see hundreds of patients. Some of them just received general dental evaluation, and those who needed dental surgeries and procedures received that. Even the president's son was seen and got his teeth reconstructed. Were you up at the dental area? Did you see them in action?
Yes, there were quite a few patients there every single day. One that struck me was there was a young kid. And so, you know, seeing these children there, many of them probably hadn't seen a dentist in all of their life. I see here's one with a little boy right here as well.
Exactly.
So these services were, if we can get the magnitude, yeah, here in the U.S. you have sometimes folks without maybe medical and so forth and insurance, and they might not have, you know, seen a doctor for quite a while. But here, can you imagine some people have never probably even seen a dentist or a doctor or anything like that. So these services were way, way beyond the capacity of people, but the quality was just the same as they would receive.
Let's look at this picture. There's the patient who came in with broken teeth. And I think I have the post-surgical picture. You're going to see the beautiful reparation that was done. This is the same patient. Let's go to the next picture. And we're going to see one in which his teeth are just beautiful. Let's move to the next one. So we did, there you go.
Wow,
can you imagine? I mean, the father was so thankful. He came to me and he was just amazed. He was very thankful because that's in the front of his mouth.
Wow.
So, I mean, the work that we did, it's very hard to put a value to that.
Yes.
Because we touched life in such a significant and impactful way. And God was just wonderful.
Awesome, awesome.
This is another patient, and he had a very small tooth to the side, so they worked on that to make it look more normal. So I think we're going to get to the picture where that that tooth is repaired. There you go. How beautiful is that? Look at it.
Interesting, yes. Wow.
So these guys just did a fantastic job. And I want to thank our viewers, and remember, you can continue to help people all over the world by just supporting us. This is a ministry. It's a non-profit organization. Whatever you donate will go back for you to claim on your income tax. Fantastic, significant life-changing experience that these people in Ghana experienced.
So tell us a bit, so as people are looking at these, you're mentioning to support with Faithful Path, if you want to check that out. Faithful Path International Ministries.org for those who, the logo is right here on the screen. One of the things, Dr. Cooper, as you are, we are thinking and reflecting on our experience there is there's a certain drive internally, an intrinsic motivation, if you will, for people to do this kind of work. It is a privilege all around. For me, I like to use this word trifecta and everything, right? So it's a trifecta blessing. We are blessed for going. The people are blessed for receiving, but also those who help to send others there are also blessed, as it were. So
Absolutely.
tell us a bit about, I mean, what makes you do, because you're already busy. You have 3 practices.
Yes.
What causes you to want to do some more?
You know, to be honest with you, those of you that know me, if you don't know me, uh, I'm more than just a doctor. I'm actually a Christian doctor, and I really believe in practicing the way Christ practiced. I'm not extreme or anything like that, but I believe that when we change lives, we're touching the patients or the people in a very impactful way. We're giving love, and when we serve, we are more blessed. When I go to Africa, or if I go to Haiti, or if I do local work here in the United States, which I do, the joy, the satisfaction I receive, you cannot put a dollar value to that. So I really do like going and serving. So we continue to see some of the pictures. We not only did dental procedures, but we also did vision. The doctors there, the ophthalmologists, they saw over 1,000 patients.
Wow.
I got that number from one of the ophthalmologists, Dr. Castillo from Mexico. They were seeing about 200 patients a day. And then they had the cataract surgery. They did 96 cataract surgeries and then 10 other eye surgeries. Now, you have an experience with one of the patients who had cataract surgery. What was his experience when he spoke to you? You were doing a recording on him, which you're going to see later, Facebook friends.
Okay, yeah, I think we see that video later on. There were actually 3 of them, and 3 elderly gentlemen, both, I think 3 of them actually were pastors. The interesting thing, it reminds me, as you're saying, is like stuff you read sometime in the sacred scriptures. You know, people were like, now I can see.
Yes.
So this elderly gentleman was saying, you know, he had retired, he couldn't read anymore, he couldn't see things clearly. But just after a few days, when he came back for the, I guess, post checkup or see how things are, he was bubbling from ear to ear. You know, he was saying, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And so we can't wait for you guys to see that. But that's the kind of impact, the gratitude. One thing he also said was, I just can't find words to express it. You know,
the thing is that in Africa, those cataracts are very dense. So patients who have cataract, they cannot see at all.
Wow.
So when you remove the cataract and they get vision, you just can't explain the excitement that they have just to be able to see. So it's very impactful. I think we need to move to the eye pictures now. There's a folder with vision. We can move there so we can see the doctors in action. There's one of our patients. This gentleman is a Muslim gentleman. He was excited after the following day when he came back to remove the, there we go, the patch from his eye. You can't, I don't know, it's very hard to explain the type of joy these patients have when they can see. Now, you have been doing this too. You have been very busy doing a lot of humanitarian work. Tell me about the impact it has on you just to see people being blessed.
Yeah, a life of service is the most rewarding. You know, when I got out of the military, I got into nonprofit work as well. And we've traveled now to over 25 different countries. It changed my life. I mean, I wasn't always liking to do this stuff. You know, I would rather just give. But in 2007, I went to Zimbabwe, and from there, my whole life changed. And so every year from there on out, my wife and I try to go and to serve wherever we can. But we've done most of those kind of works in different places in Africa. So it fills me up, Dr. Cooper. It gives me purpose, it gives me meaning, it gives me significance. And that's one of the things I tell people. That's how we can be a blessing all around. So when you are doing your job, your business or whatever, if you can have a why, my why is to be able to make income, but so I can be a blessing to as many people as is possible.
Very good.
So that gives you drive. When you feel tired, I remember those faces.
I agree. It energizes you mentally, psychologically to want to work so you can be able to have the financial means to continue these trips. Now, I must mention that all of the equipment that we use in the surgery, during the eye surgery or dental surgery, we had to take.
From this side?
From this
Wow.
side.
Wow.
Because the
Oh, look at
hospital,
that.
we worked, look at this surgery. The doctors there were doing, removing a cataract. Some bleeding, but the after effect is fantastic. We had to take all of our instrument from here or from Mexico to Ghana. We worked out of the Valley View Adventist Hospital, and I must take time to thank all of the doctors there, the nurses, the administrative staff for receiving us, for working with us, so we were able to touch so many lives. So these are our nurses and our doctors from Mexico. Dr. Castillo, who also was with us in Senegal. He travels the world doing cataract surgery, very good. So if he's listening to me, I just want to thank him. So that's the OR where we have a patient right there getting his cataract removed. Patients are waiting to be seen right there. Incidentally, we could have done more than the 100 cataract surgery, but some of the patients were a little hesitant to accept the surgery. So we took material for 150. We did just about less than 196 cataract surgery and 10 minor surgeries because patients were so hesitant. Maybe they had bad experiences. But as I mentioned, that every single one of our patients did very well. Absolutely zero complications. And we continue to get reports from the patients via WhatsApp. So thank the Lord for guiding hands, for taking care of the missionaries, and we want to thank all our viewers who supported us. We continue to show some picture, but I want to bring in my second guest here, Mr. Patrick Vassell. Patrick is a retired nurse, and this probably was your first international medical missionary trip?
That is correct.
Right. You work locally right here in South Texas, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Right. Now tell me about your experience there. You were very busy teaching hundreds of patients. You were standing in the sun for many hours teaching many patients, and after that, in the evening, you were assigned somewhere else. So tell us a little bit about your experience there in Ghana.
Well, I did not know what to expect. It was my first trip.
It was your first trip.
Yes, first missionary trip.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got there, first thing I noticed is the new number of eye diseases.
The
in
number of
problem.
eye diseases.
Yes, eye problem. That was astounding to me because we don't have that here. And the people were very friendly as well. I noticed that they were friendly. They were courteous as well. You know, I mean, when we go to the meeting in the evening, they would take my books from me and they would want to carry it from me.
Yes, yeah, very nice.
I'm not used to that, right? Because nobody seemed to want to do it, but it's like they want to do everything for you.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that was very wonderful, and I appreciate that. My role was, I was the first one the patient would see when they come to the clinic. And my job was to teach them about health, right? And basically, we have a synonym, New Start. They are something like that. The laws of health.
The 8 laws of health.
8 laws of health. Yes, and people were very intent in listening. They settled down and they listened. And some of the simple things I even taught them. The first step in any restoration process is to clean the most important organ in the body, which is the stomach. And I gave them simple ways to clean the stomach. And I mean, for me, it was amazing. I liked it, and I wish to go back.
Very good. I want to thank you so much, Patrick. And I agree that the people were very friendly. They wanted the information, because even in the night when I'm doing my health lectures, and when I start asking the quiz at the end of the lecture, I mean they were very sharp, meaning that they were actually listening. So as I mentioned before, my thoughts and my goal for Techum in Ghana is for them to increase lifespan from 64 to 100. And we're going to be working hard to get this done. That's right. What do you think?
Well, everything is possible. With God, all things are possible, I should say. With God, all things are possible.
Right, right.
Yes, we can increase the lifespan.
With education.
With education.
That's right. Not with medication, not with drugs.
No. With, again, the 8 laws of health are the key.
That's right. That's right. Right.
So if we can get the mindset to change, then we will have success.
Awesome.
Very good. Excellent.
Awesome.
And you, Pastor, what do you think about the reception from the people there in Ghana?
Oh, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. This is one of the things. I'm glad you said you want to go back. So that means it was good. But yeah, the reception, the appreciation.
Yes.
Sometimes you do things, and that's part of that intrinsic return too. Sometimes you do stuff you may not always get an immediate return, but just seeing their receptivity, their openness, like you're saying, for example, when you're doing this, it didn't matter about religion. For example, you had the Muslims, you have people of all different faith groups, as a matter of fact, that were there. So that tells you that the people valued what you were doing, because the reality is too, in that area, it had never been done.
No.
That kind of work and service has never been done in Tetraman at all.
No,
As
no.
you said, the chief would even send his people out there. We had all kind of different officials and dignitaries that were coming. And then the news folks came
Oh, yes. We had
to
a
interview you, right? And so how did that go? Because that reached also, we had word even here in the U.S., some
Yes.
people were able to see that news presentation.
Right. We had about 20 media houses there for this news, what do you call it now?
Like a press
A
conference.
press conference. A press conference. We had so many radio stations, so many TV stations, and the news went beyond the borders of Ghana. Because there were people in the United States calling to say, hey, what's going on in Ghana? We saw this on the news. This has never happened in Ghana before, where a group of people came in and provide medical services for so many people. Over 3,000 lives were touched. And that is with the medical, dental, and optical. And then about 10,000 at the nightly health and evangelism seminars. And then, as you mentioned, via radio, 4 radio stations, it's very difficult to quantify, but we were told between 500,000 to 1 million people heard these seminars.
Yeah.
You know, and as I keep mentioning to our viewers, the way to change a person, the way to change a community is through education.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
It's not through pills, giving them an injection or a pill here and there. We will not change healthcare outcomes. We will not change life expectancy unless we empower them through education how to take charge of their health. And that's exactly what we did there through our global reach.
And that's what you're doing here every Sunday.
That's
as well,
exactly what we're
with
doing
this
right
stuff.
here on the Facebook
Yes,
Live.
exactly.
So I want you to like and share our page and put a comment, because if you're getting helpful information, then why do you keep it to yourself?
That's right.
Let's
It's good
share
news.
it. That's right. And
Yeah.
you can be part of the movement to change the world through health education.
And that is powerful because, you know, there's a saying, especially in this part, the western side, you know, knowledge is power. So use the power, because the way you experience the power, it actually is potential power, because it has the power to, you know, to do a lot of things. But it's when you take that knowledge, that information, and apply it. But first you got to know what to apply it. So that's why the information is great.
Exactly.
And this is really what we believe. I think that they can do it in Tetraman to be living to that
absolutely.
age, because we already know they have most everything there. They are lacking in certain areas, you know, hygiene, different things like that. But let me tell you, them folks, they can walk.
Oh, they work
So
very
exercise, I don't think they have a problem with that department,
no,
right?
No.
So they can teach us a thing or two, because I'm like, man, these folks, we were walking, Brother Patrick and I were walking in the mornings early with Donald, and we saw kids walking to school.
Yes.
Like, you know, before 7 o'clock, they're walking to school. Before 7 a.m., kids are walking. So I'm like, they already get the exercise in.
That's right. That's right. You're smart. And one of the things we didn't see much of is obesity. We did not see much of obesity there. I did not see much diabetes because, you know, obesity and diabetes are brothers and sisters. We saw a lot of hypertension, a lot of high blood pressure, a lot of arthritis. I've seen patients who had signs and symptoms of prostate cancer. I've seen one of my first patients was breast cancer, stage 4 already. She didn't know what was happening because of the lack of education. I saw a patient with who was very thin. He was vomiting a lot, losing weight, and I thought there was a mass in the stomach. So I sent him for a sonogram. When he came back, he had multiple masses in the liver. So education is important. Everyone needs to know when to see the doctor and when to go to the doctor, because I found out there in Ghana that a lot of people, they do have health insurance, but they were not necessarily using the health insurance unless they're very, very ill. But in order to preserve your health and for you to prevent diseases, you do need to have yearly screening. Certain times you need to go to the doctor. What do you have to say about that, Patrick? Because you're a retired nurse.
Yes, I also observed that the people in Techiman eats a lot of protein and carbohydrates and very little vegetables.
Right.
And that might explain the medical problems that they're having.
I agree.
So in teaching, I taught them that the largest portion of their diet should be from the vegetable kingdom, and then second largest from the fruit. And so by doing this, they can reverse the diseases as well, because the vegetables are wonderful cleansers. And if they incorporate that, just simply by incorporating the vegetables and getting more fiber in their diet, that is going to cause them to go to the bathroom. And we have a saying that constipation is the mother of all diseases. If you eat just protein and carbohydrate, you will be constipated, and you don't drink enough water as well. I noticed that. You will be constipated and you will have lots of problems. So if we can reverse that as well, we can probably close some of the hospital in Techiman.
And if you're listening to us and you're not consuming a lot of vegetables, then this is what you need to do. Because as he mentioned, vegetables have a lot of fiber. Not only that, vegetables and fruit, these are the sources for your vitamins, your minerals, your phytochemicals that you need to prevent and reverse many diseases. I'm going to ask the producer to put one of our videos on so that our viewers can actually see some of the, we just have a few videos. So if you could put one on right now so you can get a view of what we did over there, that'll be fantastic. But yes, fruits and
dental unit, the doctors here, the dentists are working.
Sometimes, because of the move it already, sometimes you get fragile. Okay. When you get fragile, you can't do anything with his teeth, even eating.
Does he give you information?
That's what I had a one.
That was a very short video just for you to see where we worked out of. And as we mentioned, these dental doctors did a fantastic job trying to see all the patients that came in to see us. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, in Techiman, I think I was about 5 or 8 years old when I saw a cashew tree. And in Techiman, I saw cashews like crazy.
Yes.
Right? And I picked one, and I noticed they take off the nut and throw away the fruit. I ate one fruit, and I discovered something wonderful. I kept chewing and kept chewing and kept chewing, and that thing wouldn't go away. That tells me that the fruit of the cashew is high in fiber. And instead of throwing it away, they should be eating that so that that can help them as well.
Right. I mean, there are various cultures. People do different things. But yes, the fruit from the cashew is very important to provide fiber and a lot of vitamins as well. So, Pastor, anything else you want to add?
Well, I just want to say, listen, life is short, but it can be long if you do what needs to be done
Right.
to extend it. I'm personally appreciative. I just want to express my final thanks here again for the Faithful Path International Ministries and the team of people who help support humanitarian work and projects. I would also encourage our viewers and listeners to support this work as well. Go to faithfulpathinternational.org, faithfulpathinternational.org. If you can, in the future, I'm sure there'll be other projects, and we need volunteers. So if you would like to volunteer for a future humanitarian project in somewhere overseas or other, even in the U.S., there's some projects that are being done as well. Let us know. Contact again, faithfulpathinternational.org, and we'll be able to make that happen. On the behalf of the African people also from Techiman, I want to say Medazi, which means thank you. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for the giving. And thank you to all the doctors and nurses, Mr. Patrick Vassell, Dr. Cooper. Thank you guys for going and serving the people of Africa.
Good. We have a video there with a patient. He was one of them who received the cataract surgery. And I want to play it for you to see the excitement of this gentleman who got vision and new return on life. Let's play your video with the gentleman giving his testimony after the cataract surgery.
1, 2, 3. Pastor Jem is my name. I've worked for the conference mission almost 40 years. And I've been on retirement for almost 7 years now. During my holidays, I was finding reading very difficult. So when we heard of your coming, I was able to come. I was operated about 3 or 4 days ago. I was out to come for review today. When I came, everything is clear. I can see, I can read, and I don't know how to express my gratitude. We thank you for the team that have come. And my prayer is, God should help you so that any country that you will be called, you have interest to go and help God's cause. I mean, this is my doctor who take care of me. I don't know his name. Yeah.
Dr. Castillo, go ahead and join him.
This is the doctor that
This
helped you out.
is
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Castillo.
yeah.
Dr. Castillo is from Mexico.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Pastor.
I extended your greetings to your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thank you also.
Praise the
Thank
Lord.
you. And God bless us all for coming.
And let me say something about Dr. Castillo. He has been traveling with us and performing the same cataract surgery in various countries.
Thank
we
you.
just got back from Senegal where he did the same. Thank you, Doc.
God will help you. God be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure you can feel his excitement.
Yes.
I mean, this guy said he could not read his Bible for a while. And now with the cataract removed, he was just filled with joy. And we have had the same testimony from many other patients. So what a blessing this trip has been. And I really want to thank all the volunteers. We were just a minimal amount. And I must confess that while we were planning the trip, the organizers from there told me that they had 3,000 patients already signed up. Honestly, I got a little nervous. I said, who am I going to get all the doctors to see 3,000 patients? But you know, as I said, the Lord was with us and we were able to treat these patients well without any major complication. I want to thank you viewers. There's some of you that were praying for us. Some of you supported us financially, as I said. We had sponsors. We took about $600,000 worth of medication from the United States to Ghana. Where did we get those drugs from? There is a ministry that is called AmeriCares. They gave us most of the drug for free. And then Blessings International, they sold us some drugs at a reduced cost. And I must thank my local pharmacies here in South Texas, Cantus Pharmacy, and some other pharmacies that also donated medication or supplies. There's some other doctors and other businesses that supported us. This trip is very costly, I'm sure. Trips like these are just very costly, and this one was very costly. But we are thankful to all the donors that assisted us. And as we mentioned before, we will continue to serve internationally and nationally. So if you feel impressed to serve this ministry, go ahead and go to our website, faithfulpathinternational.org. It doesn't matter where you are from in the world. Go ahead and support us if you feel the desire to do so. Patrick, this is your first trip, but you said you will be happy to return.
Yes.
That's right?
That is correct.
And will you be working as hard as you did this time?
I don't know if it's possible because during the day you work and then at night you work again. I don't know if it's possible to work harder.
Right. But you know, God is good. As we mentioned, we did the clinical in the morning, and then we did the counseling or the health education and the gospel education. And as you know, we take a holistic approach to health. We look at the physical, we look at the social and mental, but we also look at the spiritual. And we were able to assist in planting 10 churches in Africa. What do you have to say about that?
Wonderful. But even greater, we look at a man who had his sight returned, and we can see biblical principle playing out. I was blind, but now I see.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Right. So, as you said, the Bible says, I was blind, but now I can see. So, you know, if you feel impressed, then go ahead and support us. And we want to thank all the organizers there at the Valley View Adventist Hospital, Valley View University in Techiman for their support, and also the Valley View Adventist University in Accra, because they also supported us. We mentioned earlier on that we had people from all over Ghana coming to be seen. I had a patient who came from Accra. Accra is about 7 hours drive. And he came there because he had kidney failure, high blood pressure, poorly controlled diabetes. When I saw him, his systolic blood pressure was over 200. He was very, very ill. I reviewed his medications. Then I put him on the medication we brought there. And in a day or two, the blood pressure was much better, and he was doing much better. He returned to Ghana. He returned to Accra. We brought so many drugs. We were able to give the patients 3 months, 6 months supply of drugs. And we were able to leave tons and tons and tons of medication there in Ghana for them to continue to distribute. So even though we said we saw over 3,000 patients, there's several thousand more who will be receiving free medication as a result of this ministry. God is wonderful.
Indeed. Indeed.
Anything, gentlemen? We're going to ask you guys to continue to put some pictures up. I think we have more pictures that our viewers want to see. And I want to say welcome to a lot of our viewers. You realize we are now welcoming you. Let's see who we have here. Dina Rivera, we have Donnell, we have Karine Jones, I have Ronita, Lillian, Robert. There are just so many people. I want to thank you for supporting us, and keep share and like this page, because we want to touch lives all over the world. Gentlemen, let's continue. Anything else you have to say?
Yes, my wife especially watches this show on Sundays. I do check in from time to time as well to comments and to share it out. But I would say again, this is 2018, and praise God, we are not too far into the year as yet. We're still in February. I really want to appeal and encourage you guys. Listen, out there, health is super important. Your health is your most valuable asset, because if you don't have your health, many things can happen, and it impacts every other area of your life. As a matter of fact, if you want to improve any area of your life significantly, improve your health. the reason I say this too is this area where we live in South Texas, there are a lot of deaths. Even when I came back, I mean, the first thing I had to do was visit the hospital. Last Saturday, Mr. Patrick was with me. We watched one of our brothers passed away at the hospital, and we eulogized him on Thursday evening. So health is crucial, and all the information that you're given here freely, by the way, because many people don't know this kind of stuff, and so you are giving it here for at least 1 hour every single Sunday. Value this type of information. Implement it, share it. Like, it is golden information. There's also a report, I do project management as well, but there was a report a few years ago also that says healthier employees are more valuable to a company than sick employees. It says actually the more healthy you are, you can add at least an extra $6, you know, to your company's bottom line just by being healthy. So we hope that you will take this stuff seriously. All the information you've been getting is awesome. Then giving. Giving is a form of extending the work that you are doing here.
Right.
Giving is rewarding in so many different ways. To provide services for people who cannot provide for themselves is truly something beneficial. So even, for example, everyone who gave to help support this Dr. Cooper also had a part to play there.
Exactly.
They might not have been physically present, but their giving assisted to make that a reality. So all of these statistics and report are also indicative of your work. So you did this as well. So we want to continue to ask you guys to give, to support. Lend your hand through your finances. Go to faithfulpathinternational.org.
And you looking at the picture there, this gentleman came in, he was very sick. He had what we call diabetic coma. His blood sugar was so high, it was not measurable. I was outside, they called me to the emergency room of the hospital there in Ghana to go and assist. He was bleeding from his stomach, sugar was very high. We flooded him with fluid and insulin and all of that, but you know what? He came too late. He was just there too late, and the hospital was not equipped with an ICU unit, and he died within 24 to 48 hours. These are things that I'm passionate about, that I want to help. I work here in the United States, but I want to extend myself to places like Techiman, so we can provide the very best healthcare services that they have there. So as you support us, however you support, whether you support my courses, my books, whatever, you are supporting this ministry. So we want you to share, we want you to like, we want you to continue to follow, because I want you also, look at today. This was a day when we had about 1,000 patients at the hospital. The hospital was full. They were coming from all over to see us. That particular day, we saw over 700 and some patients returned in the morning. We were extremely busy. We were, as I mentioned, a team of 15, but we had the angels working along with us. This day, we called in support from the local doctors. We had one doctor from the community that helped us, and then we had the hospital doctor and physician assistant helping us in order for us to see so many patients. So I want to extend my thanks to just about every one of you, the followers, the people from Techiman, the leaders from there. And as we promise, this is only the beginning. We are going to be there again, working to improve lifespan. Pastor, you know that we were visited by the king. The king, well, we visited the king in this palace. Then he sent his people to us. And you know, they were so impressed with the work we were doing. They were at the hospital, and the hospital was just hustling, bustling, busy with patients. That the king sent us the news that he had a gift for us. What was that gift? Okay, you guys know the gift.
I think Patrick will mention, because he likes this food as well. So what was the gift, Patrick?
Yam and water.
We were taking 100 tubers of yam. Now, if you're from the West Indies or if you're from Africa, you know what yam, that's a root, a big root. It's a good carb, good carbohydrate. They brought us 100 tubers of yam and a lot of water just to say thank you for touching the lives of my people. And we were just so grateful. We ate some of the yam, but we had to leave most of the yam there because, you know, we couldn't take the yam to the United States. But we want to thank them so much. And we are praying for the people there in Techiman, and we continue to lend your support, and hopefully we'll go back. But we're going to be going again to different places. I'd like to go to Haiti this year and want to do some work here in the Rio Grande Valley. So continue to follow us so you could see where we're heading and to see how you can help us.
Yes. Definitely sign up as well, because like you're saying, all of this is also volunteer opportunities.
Yes.
Again, there are many different ways of giving, but if you can also give your time, your energies, your expertise. So I know, like you said, right here in the Rio Grande Valley in the summer, you have a program as well that provide medical services to the community. So we're going to be needing some volunteers for that. I think it happens at the end of June thereabout. So at least go on the website again, faithfulpathinternational.org, and sign up there, put your name and email in there so we can keep in touch with you. And for those who want to give, again, we say if you want to support financially and otherwise, you can do just that as well. Go to Africa, volunteer to your neighbors in your local community, wherever you can. Trust me, it is a rewarding thing. Nothing energizes me more than extending my services, my help, my time, even beyond work, right? You guys are busy too. All of these doctors, they were busy, they're doing their thing, they have work to do. And actually, you can even argue that you guys have lost a lot of but you've gained a lot more also, because to close an office for that many days.
Right.
But here's the thing too, we did not, again, you said, I mean, it's not simply about money, but if you were to put a value, a dollar figure on all these services that were rendered during this
2 weeks
trip,
there.
what would that figure look like?
You know, más o menos, it would be between $7 to $9 million US dollars. That's the cost for the service we rendered to these 3,000 patients. Over 3,000.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. All this multiple eye surgery, all the dental surgery, and all the medication. Medications are expensive.
Very much
and we left all these drugs to the hospital to continue to give for free. God is amazing. So $7 to $9 million worth of services we gave to the people in Techiman. And as you mentioned, giving services like that is so rewarding. You just cannot put a value to it. So friends, if you're listening, please think of doing something. Think of joining this community or any other community and do some humanitarian services for your neighbor. Anything else as we wind down?
Yes, I like the emphasis on health. And I have an expression, health and life are like husband and wife. You can't have one without the other.
Like
Anything that impacts your health is going to impact your life.
True.
So you take care of your health and you will enjoy life.
Very good, very good. Pastor, let me see who I can thank here. I saw that we were having a lot of viewers.
Yes.
And I want to thank Clinton from New York. I want to thank Rowena. I want to thank Percy from the Philippines. And there's so many people, Lillian from here, Robert, there are just too many of you, Kay Scott. So everyone that joined us, I want to thank you. I want you to keep following us, especially if you want to live long and healthy. If you want to be empowered through health education, this is the place to be. And remember to like our page and share. I have a lot of health resources. And if you continue to follow me, you will also receive the information that you need for yourself, your family, or for your friends. And as we wind down, Pastor Chance, I want to thank you so much for that invitation to Ghana. That was a fantastic trip in which we touched so many lives. And Patrick, for your work, for your help, for everything that you have done to allow this trip to be this successful, I want to thank you. And for all of you viewers who prayed for us, who donated, anything you did, I want to thank you. Thank all the people in Ghana, and as we say, Medasi, and Yamishau, God bless you.
All right.
Continue to follow us as we continue to touch lives nationally and internationally. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much. Next week, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.